Hello there my friends, it's Ebird Online and I'm back with another review, and I hope everyone had a good Easter. I know I certainly did, and although I didn't get any Easter eggs, I still managed to eat my own body weight in chocolate. So today I'm going to be talking about Stephanie and Harris. Unfortunately for us, it's the last time we'll see Stephanie, because apparently Stephanie failed to attend the tell-all. My sources told me that producers said there was no gin on the rider, so Stephanie declined to attend. So today we're going to be discussing what we think the future holds for Stephanie and Harris, if anything at all. And also we discussed the role of Emma, Harris's wife, in Harris's little game. Just before we begin, thank you to everyone who's subscribed to my channel. And if you've yet to do so, please don't forget to smash the red button for regular content. And also if you enjoy this video, please don't forget to hit the like button. And so without further ado, for the final time this season, I give you Stephanie and Harris. So we first catch up with Stephanie and she's back at home in Michigan, and we see her walking out towards the woods behind her house with some papers in hand. What's this? Perhaps she's burning her NDA with TLC. I certainly hope so. She starts burning the papers and then she explains to us that it's the K1 visa paperwork for her and Ryan. And she tells us that Ryan is no more. This is the paperwork that I was supposed to be sending in for Ryan. Too bad for Ryan. Done. Goodbye Ryan. Hello Harris. I think you'll find Stephanie narrow escape Ryan. Life of servitude Harris. And then she trots off back inside to talk to her cat about proceedings. And she lets the cat know that Ryan's no longer her daddy, and that she'll now have a new daddy, Harris. And the cat will be child number 5. And it's at this point that I'd like to talk to the ASPCA to let them know I've got somebody else for their register. It's gotta be said, I feel extremely sorry for this cat. And guys, look at the way that the cat looks at Stephanie, in exactly the way that both Ryan and Harris look at Stephanie, and in fact probably most other people that meet her, with a look of contempt, disdain and mild irritation. And Stephanie lets the cat know that Harris checks in on his investment 5 to 6 times a day. Of course he does, Stephanie. He wants to ensure the growth of his investment. And Stephanie decides to give Harris a call. And she asks him how he is. And then she asks, and Stephanie says to Ryan, "How's Emma doing?" And he says she's fine. "Is it possible for me to speak to Emma, the mother of your children?" And Harris stalls a little bit. And then he says, yeah, no problem. And Stephanie says, "Even though we've had a couple of texts, I just want to hear from her that you guys are no longer together." And then Harris says, "Yeah, she's right here." What? She's right here? Whatever is she doing right here? Harris, you said just a couple of days ago that Emma was back with her parents and she no longer lived with you. Has she moved back in the intervening 2 or 3 days? And Emma comes to the phone. "Emma, how are you? You have a really pretty outfit on." How do you know, Stephanie? You can literally only see her bra strap. And Stephanie asks, "How would you feel if Harris came over to America to live with me?" And Emma hesitated for a moment and said, "Well, I guess if it will make a better life for the kids, I'll 100% support it." And Stephanie said, "So have you moved on as well?" And again, Emma looked left, Emma looked right, and she was very thoughtful. And I could virtually see Harris outside of the shot saying, "Yeah, say that everything's fine." And Emma said, "Well, I guess that Harris and I would be, better off as friends. So I don't mind if he comes to America." Guys, the jury's back, the verdict's in. As far as I'm concerned, Emma and Harris are in this together, and nothing that anybody says will change my mind. Think about this logically. If you're with somebody for 14 years and you have 3 or 4 kids with that person, and you still live with them, how likely is it that you would happily speak to their new love interest and have no sort of problem with that new love interest taking the father of your kids thousands of miles away? I think for the majority of women, the absolute minimum you would do is be a bit offhand. But not Emma, she's got her fake smile on. But Stephanie's lapping up all of Emma's lines. And Stephanie's thought process really does pose the question, methamphetamines or opiates? Who knows? But one thing I do know is that Stephanie is so dense she can't even see what the problems are here. She's so ensconced in the view that she's amazing and ultimately so desirable that nobody could reasonably have any problem with her ridiculous requests. But it's what happens next that puts the absolute icing on the cake for me. Because we go over to the beach in Belize and we see Emma and Harris and their 4 kids having a lovely family day out. And producers ask Harris, what are you hoping for your relationship to Stephanie to be? And Harris was thoughtful for a moment, and he said, I hope that I can be the one to go with Stephanie to the United States, because I have a lot of big dreams and I can make a lot of money there. And I believe I can make a better life for the following people. My kids, my mum and my dad, my aunties and uncles, all of my cousins, my nieces, my nephews, and the general residents of Belize. In fact, everybody, all except for terrible, horrible Ryan. And Harris continues, I feel really special that I have somebody to give me free money. And then he further explains, I know my kids will be hurt if I move to the United States, but I can make a much better life for them. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity for me. And you see his kids playing in the sea. And it seems like there's 4 of them. And I'm pretty certain that I've always heard Stephanie say he has 3 kids. So she's planning to marry a person and she's never even met the kids and she doesn't know how many there even are. And as we see the kids splashing about in the sea, Harris and Emma are sitting on the beach, looking for all the world like a married couple in love. And then right at the end of the scene, Harris pulls Emma in for a kiss and they kiss tenderly, just like a married couple who are still in love. And that's where we leave the story for this episode. So what do we make to all of this? Well, it's very difficult for me to work out the most effective method for the distribution of condemnation. And I don't know if I think Stephanie's worse, for 1, not seeing the signs, for 2, ignoring signs that she clearly must see, and for being happy to rip a father from his family. Oh, and not forgetting for not being happy to going and finding somebody who's perhaps single. But then on the other hand, I think to myself, Harris, is moving all the way to America the only way that you feel you can provide for your family? And I guess to ascertain that, I'd really need to know just how poor this family are. What do you guys think? Are Harris's motives greed or necessity? It's difficult to know. So I know that higher levels of complex thought aren't for everybody, but come on now, Stephanie. Even your little pea brain should be able to work out that Harris and Emma are clearly still together. Harris told you they're no longer living together. Well, they are. Harris has also told you, I love you, Stephanie, and you're my number 1. But that obviously cannot be true. Because every single time he speaks about the opportunities in the United States, he talks about looking after his family, but not just his kids. He talks about looking after his wife. And he actually even says, I've been with her for 14 years and I love Emma. And for Stephanie's purposes, I honestly don't believe that I see any spark between her and Harris. It's not as if she finds him unbelievably funny. Although, I've got to admit guys, he does make me laugh. It's almost as if she just wants somebody there, somebody to say, he loves me more than anything else, somebody that she can control. Then Stephanie, why didn't you look for somebody when you were in Belize? Somebody without a family, without a wife, and without 4 kids. It wouldn't have been that difficult. It's not as if your standards are sky high. It's not as if you're looking for any sort of connection. But I've got to say, I think Stephanie is the most deluded person that we've seen thus far on 90 Day Fiancé. It seems like she just wants to believe any words that are spoken to her. So even if somebody looks at her and says, I love you, Stephanie, with all the feeling of a rock on the beach, she believes, Harris is really in love with me. When somebody says, yeah, I don't mind my partner of 14 years, whom I still live with, I don't mind it if he moves to America, Stephanie just goes ahead and believes, well, listen to this, Stephanie. You are a self-centered, egotistical weirdo. Believe that. And the whole conversation with Emma was entirely performative. Stephanie required Emma to say, well, it's okay if he goes to the United States. Even though it was very clear she didn't mean it. Just the fact that it's been said means that Stephanie can then say, well, you heard it from the horse's mouth. Emma doesn't mind if Harris comes to stay with me. Of course she bloody minds. But she's been obviously convinced by Harris this is a good move for our family long term. And now let's get on to Harris. Harris believes that all Americans are really rich and that he's going to make his million there. Little does he realise that even when he does get a green card and does get a job, the money from that job will be mainly taken up living in America, which of course is very expensive. How much do you think you'll be able to actually send home? Also, how long do you think it will be before you start to miss Emma, who you seem to love? And how long do you think it will be before you miss your kids? And cracks form in the relationship with Stephanie. And we know that Stephanie can be quite bitter. So how long do you think it will be before Stephanie breaks and decides, right, that's it, you back home, and you'll have broken up your family? and moved to America. All for no good reason. You have to make it a good few years before that green card is in hand permanently. And finally, Harris, do you honestly think that Stephanie is so dumb that you don't even have to try and pretend to be in love with her? You knew that production were there and you knew you were being filmed and you were sat on the beach and you pulled Emma towards you and gave her a loving kiss. Do you not think at some point in between now and the visa being applied for or the visa being accepted, Stephanie's not going to witness this loving scene and decide to cancel the whole thing? If you're going to try and pull this scam off, at least put your best foot forward. And at this point I don't know who I think's more stupid, Stephanie or Harris, but what I do know is that they're both using each other and it's very, very clear. So guys, let me know what you think. Do you think that Stephanie really is as gullible as she makes out? Or do you think, as I do, that she doesn't really care what Emma thinks or what the kids feel? She's just keen to get her cabana boy over to America to service her somewhat sizable needs. And do you think that even if Harris is poor, is he anyway justified in pretending to love Stephanie, knowing very well it's all just a scam to get over to America, get a green card, and then either send money home or get his family over to America to live with him? Personally, I think the whole thing stinks. If Harris is really poor and life is really hard, I can understand to some extent. He feels as if he's been given a golden ticket and that he'd be very silly to miss it. And he did after all say it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. That doesn't really sound like it's the love of his life. It sounds like he's just won a prize on a game show. So guys, give me your thoughts in comments down below. And I'll be back very soon with another video. Thank you so much to everyone that subscribed to me. It really does make a difference. Please don't forget to follow me on Twitter. It's Ebird Online. You've been listening to Ebird. Thank you so much for listening and I bid you good day.